Hey, I am just about to leave Lowe's. I just got done working dogs, taking some dogs in, and I thought I would just do a little video and talk about, and I'm laughing at my shirt right now. My mom got this for me, and it might be a little bit silly, but I absolutely love it. It's one of my favorites, and it's very true. Okay, so I got derailed, but socializing puppies is what I wanted to talk about today. So I took a little lab puppy in that, with me, it's definitely his first experience like going out in a big environment like this, and he may have had a few things here and there with his owners, but I don't think just like a ton, which is good. I would say if you are taking your puppy out, like, we have those checklists, those socialization checklists. They need to see a man in a hat, and they need to see someone in uniform, and they need to see this and that, and be exposed to all these things, which is great. It gives you ideas of like, yes, it is important to get your puppy out and expose them, but I find sometimes we accidentally do more harm than good if we're not careful, because we expose our puppies to a bunch of things in the name of socialization that actually overwhelm our puppy, and they feel uncomfortable, and we don't necessarily know how to work through that. And sometimes, a lot of times, what I see is owners will give their puppy a lot of food and treats to try to make it better, and then we kind of spoil the treats as well, and the puppy never really overcomes anything, and then they're just like, oh my gosh, this world is scary and crazy, and then my owners get really weird about stuff, and sometimes it doesn't go well. Sometimes it goes great, especially if you have like a super happy, social, outgoing dog, but at the same time, if you have a happy, social, outgoing dog that wants to say hi to everyone, then we have to kind of rein that in a little bit, because if their expectation is, I get to go say hi to every single person that I come across, a lot of times that can turn into some reactivity down the road. So either way, we kind of have to be careful, and that's where I think like really working with a professional who's really mindful of that stuff can really be helpful in those early stages of just socialization. Like, we're not even talking about training here. We're literally talking about socialization, and just making sure you're doing the right thing for your puppy and their temperament, because it changes. There is no black and white. This is how you socialize a puppy. It really is taking the individual dog and looking at that and saying, okay, what does this dog need? So I'll talk you through my little lab puppy today. So he's the sweetest little guy. What I've noticed about him is new situations, new things, new people make him a little bit nervous, but he overcomes it very well. He bounces back, recovers very well. And so I like that. Actually, I think that's really nice for a lab in like a pet home. He's not so nervous that he's like shutting down or peeing or anything like that. He's just like, I don't know about this, and then he gets through it and he's like, oh, that was great, and he likes people, he's good with other dogs, all the things. So my plan was today is, knowing that about him, we're going into Lowe's, and it's a fairly busy day at Lowe's. It's a spring day, nice weather, so we go in, and my plan was to like just kind of get him to a point where he was like comfortable again, because I knew he'd be like, oh, what is going on? And then us kind of play a few treat games and then leave, which we did, but we actually ended up spending more time in Lowe's than what I had planned on, because he was having the best time. So we got to work on a couple of different things in there with him, which I was happy about. So what I noticed at first is he was actually wanting to go up and say hi to people, and I think it was because he was feeling like a little bit uncomfortable in the environment, but he feels really good about people, so he was kind of trying to go to them for comfort, and me as well, but anybody else, and of course everybody's like, oh my gosh, what a cute puppy, so that gets him excited too. So the first little bit, we just kind of walked around. I didn't really ask anything of him. I wasn't really asking him to like do his little leash skills that we've been practicing or anything like that. this is way bigger than teaching him obedience, okay? This is being confident and calm and happy and safe and secure in a new place. Once we have that, then we can start adding in the obedience, right? But we've got to have that foundation first. Otherwise, we're shooting ourselves in the foot. So that was the main deal. And he settled into that super well. And so we walked around a little bit. He started checking in with me. I started rewarding him with food for that. So then he started checking in more often. So I was like, oh, hey, do you want to play a little game? So we did a little bit of his obedience, just some sits and downs and stuff, some treat tosses. He was really good with that. So then we started working on his leash skills, just a little bit. Did great with that. But then what I noticed is every time we would go get close to someone, he was like trying to go say hi to them. So this is kind of what I was talking in the beginning of the video, is sometimes we have to be mindful of that, because then they turn into those dogs that are overly excited and think that they should get to say hi to everyone. If we let them say hi to everyone as a puppy, then that becomes the expectation. And then later when they can't, or they can't get to someone because they're restricted from the leash, that frustration happens, and then we get some barking, which is what our reactivity, kind of how it starts forming. So I was like, okay, we're not saying hi right now, and so I would kind of do this little game where we would walk to the end of the aisle. When we got to the end of the aisle, I would stop just a little ways back. He's super excited. I had to talk to him and help him get unlocked a couple of times off of the people in the main aisle out front. And then by the end of it, he was walking out to the end of the leash, seeing the people, and then when they would say hi to him or something, he'd immediately turn around back to me, and I'd reward him for that, right? So he had this experience where he didn't get to say hi to anyone, and anytime someone offered him attention, it was like a cue for him to come back to me and get reinforcement. And that's what we want. We want to layer that in. But then I also am mindful of the fact that he is young, and I do want him feeling comfortable interacting with people. So probably 95% of the people we saw today, he didn't interact with. But I picked 2 of the employees as we were leaving that I knew wanted to say hi to him, because they had talked to him a couple of times while we were in there. And one of them in particular, I used several times with dogs, and he's really good. So I went over to him and I was like, hey, do you care to say hi? And of course he petted the puppy, and he did really great and all of that stuff. So he did get to interact, but they were like people I chose, that I knew it was going to be really good interactions. They weren't going to be weird, because sometimes, like, you don't know, like, people will do weird stuff to puppies sometimes, like pick them up or get right in their face, or that you kind of have to be like, whoa. Like, rein it in a little bit, and can kind of overwhelm the puppy or weird the puppy out. So we don't want to do that. So just be mindful of that. Hopefully this helps in some way, shape, or form, and I hope you guys all have a great day. I almost said have a great Monday, but I don't think it's Monday anymore. I think it's Tuesday now. So I hope you have a great Tuesday.